We are all geniuses in the things we value the most. If I am most focused, most reliable, most disciplined in these areas, if I think these the whole day, if I talk about these the whole time, if I'm genuinely interested in these because of who I am, why don't I build a business around that? Because then I would be highly successful. That's the only way we can be highly successful. Mission magnetizes money. That's how you magnet money. And people who understood what money is, it's a tool, start playing with it.
Don't you think that also, like, there is moments in life where you do, I mean, there are definitely, I mean, if I look back on my life, there's definitely times where things were much more negative, like a loss a parent, like death.
That's, you can see things negative.
Life is harder then when you just experience.
Yeah, because you see more, because whenever you see,
There's things that you don't control.
okay, so because whenever you see in your mind's eye, whenever you think there are more negatives than positives, you start experiencing emotions. An emotional state in the brain, this is neuroscience, there is no emotions without a distorted perception. Emotions are linked to something in the brain, in amygdala and hippocampus, called episodic memories, which I explained a bit in the morning, but are deeper. And if you don't have any episodic memories, there are no emotions. And the way those episodic memories are formed are by distorted perceptions. Whenever you name something bad or negative, there are photographic memories in the brain recorded with negative ions. And whenever you name something positive, there are positive ions in the brain. And without a positive ion and without a negative ion, there are no emotions. So in actuality, in any moment of time, a positive incident without a negative, or a negative incident without a positive, just doesn't exist. That's a fact. Laws of physics, like me, if you studied physics for 25 plus years, if you studied math, biology, chemistry, and mastered on all kinds of philosophies, you would eventually, like myself, like doctors like Dr. Joe Dispenza, like Dr. Martini, and many other neuroscientists and psychoanalysts and Freud talking about this, you would be seeing the exact same thing. In actuality, a positive can't exist without a negative can't exist without a positive, but only in your delusions, but only in your delusional eye. And you might not agree with me because you are seeing that negative and not seeing the positive. That happens, and we work on that level, but it doesn't change what is actual physics laws. It's like your ideas about what is doesn't change what is. So
But if a mother loses her child, there's no positive.
Yeah, there are benefits. There are.
I find it very difficult to.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
such a thing as
Yeah.
grief and loss.
Yeah. Yeah. We are all, and this is like happening for hundreds of years. This is the story about the masses. The masses have been conditioned about what is painful, what is not, what is good, what is bad, and they are just conditioned and not seeing what's actual over there. Only 1% can see the actual. Only masters see actual. Their minds work with actual. Only a genius and a master would see the benefits and the drawbacks. And that's what I'm interested in, getting all of our founders to that level of mastery so that they don't do mistakes. Because on that level, if you're conditioned, you do a lot of mistakes. You lose money, you lose time. You just make mistakes. I'm not interested in founders who do mistakes. I'm interested in masters. That's why in NevCap, we are dedicated in investing in masters. I'm only going to be investing in masters, period. because I'm not interested in failing businesses anymore, losing money anymore. I'm interested in helping founders master their minds, governing their lives, governing all areas of life. So another one, what do you visualize? What do you realize? What do you visualize? What do you realize? What do you think the most? What do you visualize? Because like I said, we are all geniuses in the things we value the most. You have the most wisdom in the areas you value the most. So what do you visualize? What have you been understanding about life all these years? That's unique. And another question which is aligned with this will be, what's your internal dialogue about the whole day?
Doesn't shut up.
Yeah, but your internal dialogue is about things you value. For example, I have a friend whose first value is wellness and fitness and exercises. She just comes up with another great, amazing idea around how she can help other women get fitter and healthier every day. I don't come up with ideas like that because that's not one of my first values. I do exercise, but like my exercise is equal to a business meeting. Because exercise keeps me clear, serving my self-mastery value. Exercising daily, again, keeps my mind clear, focused on the vision, gets me centered and grounded, so that I can keep being centered and a visionary in my business, keep on building businesses, keep on investing in sustainable, meaningful businesses, keep on building my wealth, 3 values. So I'm doing exercise for the sake of a clear mind and for the sake of business and wealth building. How bizarre is that? While other people exercise for different reasons. So your mind, your internal dialogue, like my internal dialogue is business, investment, self-mastery, family, business, investment, self-mastery, family. That's the dialogue. Have you seen the pattern? Have you also seen how natural this is and how fighting with this is nonsense? This is it. This is who you are. It's like, this is the product. You know? The question isn't how we can change the product, because that's just futile. The question is, how can I leverage this product so that it gives me the best results? If I think these the whole day, I should be earning money for it. If you're spending all that time and energy and money and thinking about these, your internal dialogue, some people should be paying money for that dialogue, for what you have, your uniqueness, what you talk about, all your wisdom. What do you talk about in social settings? You tend to talk about what you value the most. And you get bored about anything out of these 3, 4 things. Very quickly you get bored, right?
What do you mean?
What do you talk about in social settings?
Personally?
Yeah.
Funny experiences, steadiness, love.
What else?
I kind of thought I'm getting there. Those few things is what I would talk about with mine.
Okay, so whenever we talked about, for example, the politicians, if I talked about politicians and political things and what what's happening around the world for 2 hours, would you get bored or not? Yeah. So we get bored in social settings where there are topics covered we don't value.
So let's say you do talk about politics. A lot of my friends talk about politics.
Yeah, and like politics, you love it. You're just inspired. You focused. Yeah.
So do you think I should then actually consider to work in politics or adjacent to politics?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm gonna now come to that. So it's like the whole idea is. So the first thing, this is basic human behavior. It's human behavioral health sciences. This is the core of it. The first thing is each human being has a set of values, your own unique hierarchy of values. When you look at human behavior, all of our behavior and actions are aligned with our core values. People only act with inner inspiration. And you have seen, it's like when you look at a human being, their behaviors, if I recorded your lives and watched it on the video, looked at what you talk about, what you think about, where you spend your energy, where you spend your money, where you spend your time, where you are focused, most organized, most disciplined, most self-reliant, I would immediately see your values. Those are your values. So the question is, okay, if I am most focused, most reliable, most disciplined in these areas, if I think these the whole day, if I talk about these the whole time, if I'm genuinely interested in these because of who I am, why don't I build a business around that? Because then I would be highly successful. That's the only way we can be highly successful. And with research, I have seen that highly successful business people are people who they're aligned their first 3-4 values with what they're doing. And they're literally getting paid by doing what they love. Literally. They're just spending the day with what they love, highly organized, highly disciplined, highly focused, highly creative, genius. They're just doing what they love, freely expressing themselves, and that is changing their vibration, because once you freely express yourself, your heart and your mind aligned, the heart pumps, but it sends a different frequency, and it magnetizes people and opportunities and money. You become a money magnet. You become an opportunity magnet. So with these, the other question is what inspires you? Like, for example, when watching a film, when were the times when you were in tears in your life? Like, which were the times you were literally inspired? What kind of human experiences inspire you? For example, every time I see someone succeed, when I'm watching even if it's a stupid basketball coach movie, when that coach helps his student succeed, I'm in tears. So teaching, helping people succeed is my thing. I love it. It is what inspires me. That is what I live for. Or for example, Esra shared like the fact that she was working with on her company for a year to get the clients, and now in the past week, you just got it. It's like, bam, with self-mastery tools. So what inspires you? What are the most consistent long-term goals that you set? And from here, I'm going to tell something very important. The other question is, this is like something to hear. What are the most consistent long-term goals you set that either came true or show signs of coming true. Why is this question important? Because whenever we are aligned with our values, with our purpose, who we are, and whenever we set goals that are aligned with our values, things flow and we reach those goals almost effortlessly. Remember what I said in the morning? I think there are two types of entrepreneurs and founders. One that say, I was a founder for 10 years. Being a founder, being an entrepreneur is like raining shit on you the whole time, getting used to it. And then there are other founders, entrepreneurs, geniuses usually, the names, the big names, when you ask them, they don't say that. They say it has been a fun journey and I enjoyed every moment, and it wasn't hard actually. It just happened. When you interview, I did, when you interview, and you can watch those podcasts with a couple of them, because it's my interest interviewing highly successful individuals. Usually, highly successful individuals, when you ask them about their life story and how it all happened, they say, it just flowed. I was at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. I don't know how it happened. It just happened by itself. That is what being aligned with your values look like. You just flow, you're at the right time, meeting the right people, doing the right deals, it just flows. So that's why I'm asking you, what are the most consistent long-term goals you set for yourself that came true? Because unless it is aligned with your values, it's not going to come true. Or it's going to be such a tough journey of, the whole time. Or maybe you'll succeed at one point and everything will crash. You'll go bankrupt and because it wasn't meant to be, they say. I say because it wasn't aligned with who you are, your purpose, your values. Anything that is aligned with your values and your purpose, you keep. Anything that is aligned with your life, with yourself in your life, you keep. Anything that is disaligned, you lose. Anything built that is disaligned from your values with a distracted, conditioned mindset, you lose. So which area? This is like a very important question. In which area have you had long-term goals that came true? It can be relationships, it can be family, it can be wealth building, it can be business. And with an innate inspiration, wisdom, what do you like learning the most, about the most, read the most? How many of you started seeing how thriving people thrive? Like, what's the thing behind all those shining and inspirational and never giving up founders and people? So this is important to remember, they committed consciously to what they're already committed to. And it's so silly and stupid, They committed themselves to what they were already committed to. Instead of going out there chasing for other stuff, which they're conditioned, they decided to just be themselves. That's it,
It was automatic.
Natural, automatic. And the best thing is, to summarize, I think the most important, what you learned here, you're already filling your personal space with what you love, what you value, you are already spending time on things you value. Now add these up. You're already filling your space with personal space with what you value. You're already spending your time on what you value. You're already spending energy on what you value. You're already spending your money on what you value. You're most organized, most ordered in things you value. You're most reliable, disciplined, focused in things that you value. You think about your dominant thoughts are things you value. You visualize, realize things you value. Your internal dialogue is about the things you value. You talk about the things you value. You get inspired on the things value, and you have consistent long-term goals you reach around the things you value. You like to learn, read about the most on things you value.
The same.
So it's so obvious. Why don't you build a business around what you value and earn the most amount of money? So this is what esoterically business success looks like. So people who are highly successful in life, as being someone who interviewed them, did research, reading books, life stories of Rockefeller, Elon Musk, and whoever, you name it, Plato and Socrates, and working with teachers, this is the basic thing. When you ask these people, they don't say it was a tough journey. They say, I loved it. It was inspirational. I was at the right place, meeting the right people, deciding the right place, just happened by itself. They were all elegantly flowing. They were all freely living their lives and doing their thing freely. And when we give ourselves that freedom, we don't only enjoy our lives so much, we reach to our highest potential. Because why? Obvious. Because you don't need outside motivation. If your business includes all of these values, you don't need anyone to say work or anything. You'll just wake up in the morning, just like me and many others who do that, and just get on work because you love it. It's not because you have to, it's not because you ought to, it's not because... Okay, how are we? Any questions?
I think that if you listen to some of the podcasts of Elon Musk, for example, in the moment or shortly after the moment of a big challenge, like when he went to mass production, or of the electric car, that was a big challenge, and he was like, I was in production hell. I don't think it was as easy as you just said. However, I would argue maybe you could be right if you say that if they look back on their lives, right, when he's 70 years old, and you ask him, how was your life? He will probably say, it just all happened and really aligned, in his case.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll see what I see over there. So I just finished his biography book, this thick. I just didn't want to end the book because my first value is business and then investing and wealth building. There is so much to learn, a lot of example how they bargained and what happened. So what I saw as a pattern over there, the first thing is he likes reproducing. He keeps on reproducing, and I think he has more children than we know.
And by the way, this is for men, at least, I don't know about women, but for men, they do think about reproducing a lot per day.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you say, how does this put in your values? But I mean, realistically, maybe it's a taboo thing to say, especially in England, because
Yeah.
people don't like to talk about this, but I'm German and we talk about it a little bit more. And it is a core value. This is why we have 8 billion people on the planet, because
It's like, it's like he likes reproducing in all the ways.
Yeah.
I would say. So he uses that reproductive energy, I think, in his companies as well. What I would say is, I think he genuinely, I think we talked about it with you. I just had my new book in Turkish being released, my 13th book, which became a bestseller. And the name of the book is Money Consciousness. It just got released 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And they're already on the 10th or 11th times publishing. So it's like the publishing house publishes, it's gone publishes, it's just amazing, which shows the need in the Turkish community for money consciousness. That's the reason why I wrote the book. So I emphasize that in the book as well. When you read and research again with highly wealthy individuals, but who did it themselves, Elon Musk would be one of them. The father, Rockefeller, would be one of them. We have a family we are connected with, like in Turkey, there is the Koç family, Vehbi Koç. I gave an example of her, for example, who did it. For example, my husband's grandfather who did it. Like when you look at people who started from scratch and built true wealth, the one thing, that's why I wrote it in the book as well, that's one thing, there's one thing that's common in all of them. They truly got what money is. First, money is not a goal. It can't be an end goal. If it's ever an end goal, being rich, living a luxurious, fabulous life, you get stuck. When you look at highly wealthy people who did it themselves, billionaires, self-made billionaires, and self-made, trillionaires, whatever, they got that money is just a tool. It is kind of like a channel to be used to bring service to humanity. So that's why wealthy people and self-made billionaires usually speak about the fact that it's a fact, great amounts of money can't be earned or big wealth can't be achieved if you don't serve a big number of people. It's like huge wealth or big wealth can be only achieved by serving a big number of people and solving big problems of the world. And you see this is true. Like Amazon, he's solving a big problem. It's like, I can't even remember the day if I needed something.
My dad always said, if you want to eat caviar, you need to sell sardines. And if you sell caviar, you can eat sardines.
Yes.
Kind of by soul.
So it's like the money is only a tool, and whenever it's like how people get stuck is if I want the money only for myself, for my own luxury, for my own family, I can't magnetize money. It gets stuck. But if I don't even want the money. If I'm on a mission, that's why I support our founders in finding their purpose and mission. Because people on a mission become a money magnet. Money is only interested in mission. Money is not interested in your luxurious lifestyle. Money is not interested in, flowing to the people so that he can buy a Ferrari, Money is interested in mission. Money flows where the mission goes. So it's like whenever you look at people, highly successful and wealthy people, they were on a mission. They were here serving humanity. They wanted to serve humanity more than anything else, and they became a money magnet. When you are on a mission solving world's problems this way or the other, you become a money magnet and you become a channel, and it just flows and flows and expands and grows. That's why, for example, and then I'm going to come to Elon Musk. That's why Elon Musk has been able to, for example, get as many investments and magnetize as many investments as possible. Because imagine he's on stage and he's saying, I need $100 million because I'm going to buy a new yacht. He's saying, I need that because I am on a mission to send people to Mars. I need that to do the research, and then the money flows because, mission magnetizes money. That's how you magnet money. And people who understood what money is, it's a tool, start playing with it. That's why even in the tough times, like in the book he explains, there's an interview around that if you read the book. They come at Tesla, they are at a stage where they are going to get bankrupt in less than 2 months. So he has a month and a half cash in the bank to pay the employers, then he doesn't have it anymore. They're going to get bankrupt. And his attitude in that, and there are other interviews of co-workers of him, like people who are his co-founders and investors. You know what they say? They say Elon's attitude when he loses $100 million and when he earns $100 million don't change. And they say this is fucking weird. His attitude doesn't change because he understood what money is and what it is for. That's not if it's a goal, when you lose money, you freak out because you made it mean something more than it is. When you earn, you're just too excited and you're like, high and all that because you made it more than what it is.
So basically, you mustn't care about money.
But it's not that you mustn't care. Because if you don't care, then you make it less than what it is. It's neither. The only thing I'm saying is the people who built wealth are the ones who truly got what money is. It is a tool I use to express myself. It is a tool I use to bring my purpose and mission into this world. It is a tool I use to serve. And the more I want to serve, the more money I attract. The more people I want to help, the more money I attract. And it doesn't matter if I lose and gain. The journey in the entrepreneurship, the journey of who you become in the end is what matters. Because entrepreneurial journey is the highest level of self-mastery journey. If you focus on the goal, if you only focus on the money, because there's going to be ups and downs, as the investment world, it's like you're going to be upset and happy and upset and elated and down. But if you know what money is, it's just a tool to be used. You can lose, you can gain. And I think that level of understanding gave, for example, Elon, because he wasn't elated when he earned, he wasn't depressed when he lost, so which gave him the ability to govern. And because he was governing his emotions and thoughts, he was able to govern all that money and all those problems. Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree, though, that you talk about this as, I think it's very noble, the way you speak about entrepreneurs and the values you want to bring. But I mean, clearly there's a lot of people who made a lot of money who didn't have very good values. The Sackler family, and the tobacco firms who lied about the health risks. There's a lot of people who made huge companies who deceived, the public.
Yeah. What you think as values and what I'm teaching are different. I'm teaching personal values. They were aligned with their personal values. And our personal values are different than social idealisms and social expectations and social goods or bads. So a personal value, this is not something I like or dislike. This is a fact. People's personal values has nothing to do with social values. Nothing. Or social idealisms or social expectations. Nothing. Our personal values are beyond those. They are beyond those. And what we usually think is good for humanity might not be good for humanity. So maybe we're thinking something is good for humanity, but maybe it's not good for humanity because nothing is either good or bad. Everything has equal benefits and drawbacks, so anything is possible. It just depends on who you are, your purpose. So with this, like I promised, I'm gonna, before the break, I'm gonna have some questions, but also the step 2 is, as you understand, identifying that the answers that repeat most often. And now what you can do is, before we go into questions, what I would like you to do, like, as a homework, when you go home, make a list of every task you're doing throughout your week and give them numbers from 10 to 3. For example, me being here, organizing this event, speaking and teaching is aligned with my first 4 values. So that's why you experience a focused, disciplined, highly inspired individual. So I would say 10 for this organization. But for example, cleaning the house might be aligned with my family value, but not top 3 values. And I would call it 3. So what I want you to do is make a list of every task you do. Don't leave anything out. Give it time, half an hour, 1 hour. Just list every task you're doing throughout the whole day. And then grade them. 10, if that activity, that task is aligned with your top 4 values that you found out today. 6, if it's aligned with only 3 or 2 values. 3, if 1 value or 2 value. 0, 1, if it's not aligned with any of your values. And then I would encourage you to delegate anything that's a 1 or 0. Because low-valued actions are meaningless, and you're lowering your own value while doing those. Better delegating to people who value those. For example, financials, creating the financial projections, not my value. I'm having a hard time focusing, numbers. My co-founder, one of my co-founders, Bura, he just enjoys it, loves it so much. He could spend 5 hours on financials, do nothing. I leave it to him. Because there, he's most organized. If I did it, it's a shit show. I did it, it's horrible, It's like, ugh. I'm not focused, I'm not inspired, I'm not organized, it's all over the place. When he does it, it's so neat. It's art. Why? Because it's aligned with his 3 values. He's most focused, more disciplined, so he should do that. Being an influencer, being on stage, being the star of the show, that's me in the company. So they're like, go out, be on stage, do lives, do seminars, do webinars, you do your thing. Why? Because if he did it, that would be a shit show. Because it's not his value. So it's like so first thing, knowing where we are best at is a privilege. So make sure you know which tasks and actions are fully aligned with your top 3, 4 values. You will be the one who are taking care of those in your company for sure. Don't leave those to anyone else, because you might make the same mistake by getting conditioned. Maybe, for example, my co-founder, Bura, if he was conditioned saying, no, a financial CFO should take care of the financials, maybe we wouldn't be able to get these results we're getting. He's like, I'm doing this. I love it. I'm best at it. I'm doing this. And it's neat. So it's for us to take charge in the areas we value the most, is the most important thing, because there you're spending an hour getting 100 results. Then, if you have 2 Like if it's serving your two values, for example, a task. If you think it's serving only two values and you don't want to delegate it, make sure you write at least 20 benefits of doing that to the value you think it's not beneficial to. For example, working on the financial projections, I could as well make it valuable for me, like I did make exercise valuable for me, aligning with my values, which I'm going to teach in a minute. But it's better to delegate anything below 5. So then in your list, think of who you can delegate. And there are books about, it's not about the job, it's about who, it's not about how. This is like coming from the self-mastery also world and also the human behavior. When you are delegating jobs, think of who would be best at doing that. Instead of just going out there, hey, I have something with a job description, think of who can do it the best, who would be the one doing it, and then reach out to those people, because it's all about whose values. So delegate low priorities, highly focus on high priority tasks. How your business shapes will change immediately. Third, to leverage your team, ask these questions to them. Because everyone in the end, at the end of the day, are only interested in their personal values. We're all selfish individuals. We are only interested in our personal values. This is even true for relationships. If I was to, for example, challenge my husband's, he just arrived, my husband's top 3 values on a high scale, he wouldn't have a chance but leave. If I challenged your values, if we were living together or doing business together, if I challenged your top 3 values, if I told you, I'm going to work with you, but I am not allowing you to do those things you wrote over there, would you work with me? If we were in a relationship, sharing a house together or married or whatever, if I told you, you're going to be my husband or my wife, but you can't do those things, you're like, bye, see ya. We are selfish beings. We tend to love people who support our values. We run away from people who challenge our values. So if you challenge someone's values enough, they're gonna definitely leave you. Business, relationship, this is why you left people, this is why you left companies. Because we are selfish and we all want to fulfill our values. So that's the same thing with your team. And master communicators are people who understand the other's values and speak in terms of them. Masters in business, masters in relationships, master leaders, they immediately feel the void of the group or the void of the individuals and speak in terms of them. So if you want to be highly resourceful as a leader and a highly intelligent, wise, and lead your team, do this exercise with them. Understand their values, what they're personally trying to fulfill. Then speak in terms of their values. If you're spending enough time with people, you don't even need this exercise, because if you watch someone, how they spend their time, how they spend their energy, their money, what they talk about, it's just obvious. Okay, then talk about your company's mission aligned with their values. Talk about how your company's mission and vision or reaching your company's goals will benefit their personal values? Fraser, this was your question. Talk about it in their way. It's like whatever they're interested. Like, for example, maybe one of their values is wealth building. You can tell them, you know, as we build the company, we might pay more. As we build the company, you can invest some equity, we can pay with equity, or speak in their terms. And they're gonna work in your company not because you tell them or because they're pushed. They're gonna keep on working in your company with a inner inspiration. Like John F. Kennedy did this in an amazing way. There is a story about a janitor. Have you read it? John F. Kennedy. So when John F. Kennedy, and he was on a clearly mission, a mission to have humans on the moon. And he didn't even fulfill his mission because he didn't see humans land on the moon himself, because he died before humans were able to go to the moon. But he was on a mission, and I don't think he cared about, when I read about him, I don't think he cared about him personally seeing it, because his mission was beyond his human dying self. So there's this story about a janitor working at the Space Center. And when someone was in the Space Center speaking with the janitor, like, what do you do for business? You're a janitor, you know, how does it feel? And he answered, I'm helping my team send humans to the moon. He was just a simple janitor. But he was like so inspired with the idea. He was like, by being a janitor, I'm helping humans land on the moon. So as a founder, once you understand their values, and once you align your company's mission and vision with their values, and once you start speaking in terms of their values, everything shifts. Because then they are there for personal reasons, not for you, because the teams are having a hard time aligning their personal values with the company's values. They need some support on that. Okay, so formulas, homeworks, done. Any questions before we get on a break and networking?
Probably a bit of opinion, I guess. You're saying about the delegation tasks, which I think is useful. I was going to say, if anyone's in the early phase startup and they think like I do, I always love to know absolutely about everything, how it works. So when I first my startup, I had to be involved with everything, whether it's the legals, the financials, the creative side, etc.
But that's classic.
At least in the first phase.
Yeah, that's classic.
Finances as well, but I find it then it's a lot easier to delegate. So if there's anyone here with like tiny budgets and it's a one-man band, don't feel you've got to delegate everything immediately.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a better understanding of what your business requires, and then who's going to be the right expert for the right part of your business.
Yeah. So that's why that's why I think all accelerators around the world, all VCs and investors are suggesting the same thing. We suggest not being a solo founder. And there are accelerators and investors that clearly state that they're not investing in solo founders. I wouldn't prefer either. Why? Because especially at the seed or pre-seed level or the idea level, you just can't build a team. You don't have the money. You have to do it on your own. So you need at least 2 more co-founders. That's the best scenario. So my suggestion would be at the idea level, pre-seed level, start your business with co-founders. They're cheaper. They're cheaper, yeah. Or get the investment and start. But again, I don't suggest having a team, like we talked about it before with you. It's like having the team and delegating everything early before you understand the business, the customers, the target audience, and the market. And it's just, because you do have a clue. If you have a clear business plan, you have the financials in place, of course you know what you're doing. But again, I think that's the privilege of startups. Like, you do your thing, You learn, you grow, eventually
You went through
grow.
the initial unknowns, and then you got
Yeah.
clarity on how to progress.
Yeah, unknowns can be known in two ways. One is, of course, market research, but the other one, more strong than that, is like understanding, and that's what we do in the accelerator. That's what we help people understand, understanding your original story. Because you are not going to change. You are who you are, and we all have an original story. And when you carefully look at your original story, we ask hundreds of questions to our founders, like Esra, I think you did some of them, which got you clear. So when you look at your original story and see where you failed, where you succeeded, what people have been demanding from you, your talents, your uniqueness, and understand who you are, and then take responsibility, with that, you're lowering your chance to fail. And that's like aligning with values, helping you understand your purpose, your mission, your talents, your uniqueness, and building a business around your values is how I lower my risk as an investor. Making you guys unstoppable, mission-oriented, so that you succeed.